There's one decision that you're gonna wake up and make one day that could be the greatest decision of your life, and it could change your life in ways that you couldn't even imagine. And I think that, a lot of people get hung up on well, what if I'm not good enough? What if I'm bad at it? What if I can't do this? What if I can't do that? The greatest experience in life are experiences. And when you wake up and you make that decision that you want to do something, can nobody stop you from doing what you want to do? That dream that you want is one choice, one step away from you being able to attain it.
Life is like a basketball game. Sometimes you're up, other times you're down. Opponents and adversaries coming at you left and right. However, it's not the challenges you face that define you. What defines you is how you play the game. And I play to win. Welcome to my world, Carlton's world.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Carlton's World. Today, I have a very special guest. He is a very talented individual, one of the stars of Sweet Life Los Angeles. I present to you Jerrold Smith II. How you doing today, sir?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your very busy schedule. Man, when I tell y'all this man is busy, like I follow him on Instagram, and like he is everywhere, all day, every day, always doing something. So I definitely appreciate you taking the time out your schedule to talk with me today.
Of course, man. Of course. Happy to.
No problem. I appreciate it, man. Thanks again. All right, so let's get started. Jerrold, you play sports, you play basketball,
Mhm.
and you went to UCLA.
Yeah.
So I want you to talk about that. Talk about playing, because again, now that's not a small thing. UCLA is a huge school. Talk about your experience playing basketball for UCLA.
Oh man. I could do that for hours.
Yeah,
So I
well, we
don't
got
know. I
time. We
don't
got time
know.
this time. So
I don't know that we have that much time, but that's one of those experiences, man, where it's like you look back and you really wish you could just relive it at least 30 times over. It was the experience of a lifetime, for lack of better words, man. There's to be one of about 15 guys every year that gets to be able to put that jersey on, and
Mhm.
that's not a regular jersey. Like, you got the history, the legacy behind that jersey. Me being an LA kid, and being able to put on a jersey that says Los Angeles on it, just one level shy from the Lakers, man.
Right.
It's amazing. For as an athlete, as a basketball player, that was obviously the height of my career, because I didn't play professionally after college. But that was an experience like no other, man. I really don't know how to explain it, to be able to be on such a historic campus, a part of such a historic program, to kind of see years of hard work pay off in that way. For me to be able to have the opportunity to do that, it was an experience of a lifetime.
Were you always that kid that was like bouncing the ball like around the house and everything?
No, because my parents didn't play that. No, it was we definitely was not a bouncing the ball in the house household. But I did have a basketball court out in our backyard that I would go shoot at most days. My parents did an amazing job of making sure that, for the things that my sister and I were interested in, we had everything that we could have asked for, to be able to take advantage of that. So, like I said, I had a basketball court outside the house. My dad would take me to train with basketball coaches 3, 4 nights a week. He'd get off work and then we'd go to practice. And being an adult now, it's kind of crazy. I understand, like, having to get off work and take your kid to practice, because when I get off work, I can't imagine going anywhere but home to my bed.
Yeah.
And it makes me even more grateful, to have had parents that invested in my hobbies and my dreams and my goals, in that way.
I think it's so cool because I've had this conversation with my parents, like thinking like I'm 39, and so thinking about looking back at what my parents was doing at 39 years old, it's just like y'all were doing a lot. And see, my
Right.
my parents my parents have 5 kids living, so yeah, I was just like, y'all, I'm so grateful to have the parents in the house. I definitely feel you on that. Like, so you just look back and be just like, y'all did that. You
Oh
know?
God, yeah, absolutely. I have this conversation with them pretty often, because my parents like to joke, whenever I do something successful, or something cool. My mom and my dad, they'll be like, "See, you could have. Now imagine if you would have turned out like such and such, or blah blah blah." And I'd be like, you know what? Like I can't even fault you because y'all really did the thing for real. Like I couldn't have asked for more, as a kid. I still can't ask for more as a 30-year-old man, with the greatest parents and support system that I could possibly have. So it's amazing, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. When was the moment that you realized, okay, the NBA was not going to be happening?
Oh man, I realized that pretty early on. Unfortunately, I'm a 6 foot guard on a good day, and I had some opportunities to go play some places in college. But my parents stressed as much as they stressed for me to have good hobbies, and go do what I want to do in the extracurricular side. The stress was academics in our household. I couldn't even play basketball if I didn't uphold a B average because B is for basketball. And I actually turned down most of the scholarship offers that I had to go play basketball in college to go to UCLA just as a regular student. I wasn't being recruited by UCLA. I had no idea who the coaching staff was. And I got on campus as a regular student my first year. And I wouldn't say I was miserable because I loved being at UCLA. I loved the environment. But I was miserable not being part of a team.
Mhm.
So I did everything that I possibly could, within my power, to go and convince the basketball coaches that I needed to be one of those 15 guys. And thankfully, I don't know what I said, but thankfully they listened to me. But yeah, that was it was pretty early on where there's something that one of my basketball coaches used to say, in high school. My parents rang true. It's like you can only stand on a basketball for so long, but you can stand on a book forever.
Hmm.
And that was I took that to heart. Going into college, understanding that basketball players make a lot of money, which is the draw, and I can make a lot of money doing some other stuff that I'm also passionate about, that also is in and around the game. So I think it was just it's an unfortunate lesson, but it was a lesson that I learned pretty early on.
Absolutely. And what was that pivot like for you? Like, so you talk about this, you had a podcast that focused on making that pivot. What was that pivot like for you when you had to pivot from basketball?
Man, you put so much focus and energy into something for so long. The pivot was that I didn't know how to pivot, right? Most of my days leading up to that point were spent, even when I was in college. So I'll give you a case in point. When my coach in college used to say, we baby you. And he was joking, but he was right at the same time. He was like, "We baby you." Like, we would go through strenuous training, and two a day practices. But they'd have meals for us. We had priority class registration. We were traveling everywhere, in the best ways possible. And I never could understand why he was saying we baby you when he was putting us through, like, we were running and lifting and all
Yeah.
types of stuff. But he was like, when you get to that next level, whether that's outside of college and are playing professionally or just in a professional setting, a corporate setting, nobody's gonna push you to do these things. Like, no, nobody's gonna push you to better yourself, whether that be working towards a goal professionally or working towards being the best professional basketball player that you can be. And I really took something like that to heart, to where it's like, there was a point in my life where I had to realize that I had to like invest in myself, for the right reasons. And I'm just thankful to have had a lot of people around me that they weren't saying it directly, but they were dropping the hints. And I like to think I'm a pretty smart guy, that I could pick up on the context clues around me. And it just kind of worked out the way it worked out.
Nice, nice, absolutely. Now let's jump into the series Sweet Life. Let's go get into that real quick. And I think I said this already when we did the interview before, but my sisters Kendra and Carmen, they actually were the ones that put me on the show. Because
Shout out to them.
because I'm gonna to be honest with you, bro, I refused to watch that show. I was like, I am not about to watch another reality show. I am almost reality'd out. I was like, I said I can't put another reality show on my plate. And I was visiting my homeboy. He lives in DC, and he wasn't home yet. So I was just he let me in his place while he was away. And I was just sitting there, and I was just like, I'm gonna check out this Sweet Life, see what they talking about. And man, when I tell you I was hooked, I was like, man, I am so late to the party. Why am I so late to this party? And I think at the time y'all were season two was still airing. So I started watching. I started watching season one. I was like, man, this is a really good show. Really good show. It's like I said, it's not your typical reality show. You can sense the I mean, for lack of better words, the realness of it. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as like y'all's authentic relationships and everything and how y'all came together. Jerrold, I want you to talk about how did the opportunity come for you to be a part of the show? Like what was the thought process behind it?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, thank you for those kind words. I wish I could take credit for the amazing show that we made, but there's a team of producers, directors that put you know put us in the room first and foremost, but put everything together for a group of kids that had never thought about being on reality TV before. The opportunity came about. One of my really good friends, Jordan, who was also in season one of the show, he hit me up one day and was like another friend of mine had gone through a casting for this untitled, unknown reality show that may or may not have anything to do with Issa Rae. He was like, they're looking for, individuals that are black and brown, that are born and raised in LA or from LA or live in LA and are just doing something interesting to make themselves better in the world. Jordan himself is a very successful guy, as you know. Shout out to Hypeland, the your favorite brand's favorite brand. And somebody had suggested him for the casting process. And I think they were just kind of, they were searching around for a group of folks that it didn't that so that it wouldn't feel like they were, forcing people to be friends on screen. So Jordan went through the casting process, and at the end of the casting meetings with the casting directors, they would ask us, "Do you have anybody else who you think might be interesting, who you think might be good to highlight on a show like this about young black people just out here trying to make something of themselves in the world?" And Jordan suggested me, and I was thankful for him for that. And I went through the casting process. Then I suggested a group of other folks, and Pjae, who I've known Pjae's cousin, Eric, since I was in kindergarten. I suggested Pjae's cousin Eric. He ended up not being casted. And just in my entire group of friends, like people that I grew up with, hang out with on a daily basis, because everybody that I hang out with is doing something.
Mhm.
And some people made the cut, some people didn't, but that's pretty much it.
Nice. And your fiance Cheryl, she's was also on the show. Um,
Hmm.
what was like that like filming together? Because when reality TV, they say that's the doom of couples. That's what they
Yeah.
say. We're not speaking that at all. But like, what was that process like for you all filming together?
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. When I first set out to do this, everybody that everybody that I told that me and Cheryl and I were doing it together, they were like, "Be careful on a reality TV, man, because that'll make or break a couple that doesn't know what they're doing." And thankfully, me and Cheryl are so locked in, man, that it only made us stronger as a couple. We when the opportunity first came about, Cheryl didn't want to do it.
Mm,
She's not a in front of the camera type person, for lack of better words. She's beautiful, so she loves to take pictures, I'll say. But she's not a reality TV in front of the camera type person. And it took some convincing. One, because I told her I didn't really want to do it without her. If I was going to be able to tell an authentic story about myself and where I wanted to go and who I was, she's a huge part of that and will always be a huge part of that, obviously. But two, just understanding the opportunity we had in front of us. She is a business owner, being able to put herself on that platform. She's an amazing person. You talk about trying to cast a group of individuals that are doing special things, that are special people, that are from this great city of Los Angeles. Obviously, I'm gonna put her at the top of the list, 10 out of 10 times every single time. Otherwise, I wouldn't choose to spend the rest of my life with her.
Mhm.
But it was great for our relationship, because sometimes you get so wrapped up in the relationship itself, and we've been very good at tuning out anybody else's chatter outside of our relationship. But it was fun to see some people's opinions and thoughts on kind of how we operate as a couple, um, kind of how we got to where we were and how they kind of saw our relationship change on screen. But I think it was great for us. It was great for me, because even in moments of turmoil or moments of chaos, like I could always count on her to be by my side. And I don't mean by my side to where she's like, just sticking and going with whatever I say. It's like, nah, she's gonna tell me when I'm right, but she's also gonna tell me when I'm wrong. And that's what I love about her, is that there's nothing that we can't tackle together. And reality TV just being another thing on the list.
That's beautiful, man. Definitely, 1000%. And she still has a brand, right? Her clothing brand.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Yeah, she has a clothing brand called Desvines.
yeah, how's that going?
It's going amazing, man. She just dropped a collection this past summer, and I think she's working on her next one now, going into the top of the year.
Hey man, shout that website out, man. People want to, get the clothing and everything.
Yeah, yeah, it's shopdesvines.com. Shop DESVIGNES.com.
Nice, nice. Well, shout out to Cheryl, man. That's dope. That's very dope. Um, so did you? Because a lot of people say when they do these shows and it comes out, and of course, sometimes Twitter or whoever people are talking on social media, they're like, well, the show didn't portray me right. That's not
Mhm.
exactly what happened. Da, 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 da. Were you happy with how you were portrayed on the show?
Um, I'll say yeah, mainly because so it's twofold. I think when someone says that the show didn't portray them right, it's that these were 30-minute episodes, and each segment of that episode that was a 3-minute scene that you guys saw on TV was hours and hours of filming and dialogue, and sometimes it would just feel like. Like you weren't getting the full story, you weren't getting the full picture of how we got to what you eventually saw on screen. I think I was portrayed, pretty decently, specifically because like the people that resonated with me on screen could understand that my true character was shining through no matter what situation that I was in. And I think, you saw not just myself, but most of the cast go through a lot of stuff on screen that most people would be super uncomfortable talking about, even with a camera that's just going to be shown to their family, let alone the entire world on HBO. And that comes with putting yourself out there. Comes with some criticism, always with anything. Like even when I was playing basketball, if I made a turnover on national TV, that's not me portraying my best game, but whoever sees it and sees me make a turnover is going to have something to say about it.
Mhm.
And I think, that it kind of comes with the territory is you just put your best foot forward in a situation like this and hope that the ones that can really see your heart will see your heart at the end of the day.
That's a very good point. Definitely a good point. I want to talk about some uh there was a major issue when you were called a sociopath on the show.
Hmm.
That was some contention there. And of course it was resolved. and thankfully it was definitely resolved. How was that for you watching it back? Because I know that could definitely be a hard thing. I know you obviously you were upset. We saw that on TV, but just you actually watching it. You know, of course, you got your family watching it and everything. How was that moment for you in real time?
Um, I mean, in real time, it was a tough thing to watch. But you know, it's in the moment. You know, we kind of we're going through some things that you saw unfold on screen, and I can't fault anybody for feeling how they feel and saying what they feel. It caught me off guard, is what I'll say. But you
Mhm.
know, I learned to get through it and deal with it, and we're you know we're better for it at the end of the day. So
I think you handled it very well. I think you handled it very well. A lot of people can say what they would do in that situation, but like you said, when you're in that moment, and as you said, caught you off guard. You don't really know. Especially then you got cameras all in your face too. When you're being filmed, because a lot of people are more so cognizant of what's happening around them. Are you trying to make sure you put your best foot forward, or were you just like coming in like, hey, I'm just gonna just be me, live my life, and whatever they get, they get.
a little bit of both. I think that I hold myself to a certain standard. I'm a person with a certain type of character to where it'd be hard for me to just you know come into a situation willy nilly and kind of just you know not be the person that I know that I am, which is somebody who is super critical of themselves in any moment, whether there's a camera around or not. I'm always aware of my surroundings. I'm always aware of how I show up and come off to people, even sometimes where it may seem like I'm not, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't think it was but it was a little bit of both. It's like you have to learn to be comfortable in those situations to where you can trust that the folks that are getting paid around you to document the show are doing right by you. And you know, the more time that we did it, especially going into 2 seasons of the show, the more comfortable I got and just you know, showing up and knowing that I could be myself and they take care of the rest.
Nice. And there was another touching scene that you had. You had a scene with your father. Um,
Mm.
you was talking about moving in with Cheryl, and he shed a tear. I thought that was so touching. What was it
Well,
like?
a lot of people, I'm sorry to cut you off. A lot of people actually don't know. There was a lot more, like, so you talk about the not being able to see everything that was going on. We weren't talking about Cheryl for that entire scene. The entire time we were sitting um, in my parents' backyard.
Like,
We spent a good amount of time talking about Cheryl, yes, but my dad had a very great relationship with his mom, my grandma, who passed in 2018.
mm,
And you know, we were just kind of talking about our relationship and how proud he was of me, and how you know the values that he instilled in me, that he kind of wasn't that his mom instilled in him, having been a single mom, taking care of him and my aunts and uncles when they were growing up. And my dad and my grandma had an amazing relationship. My grandma lived with us growing up. We would eat dinner together every night. We'd watch Laker games. We'd watch Dodger games. They were inseparable. And we started talking a little bit about my grandma, and that's when he started to shed that tear.
uh,
Was because he realized, you know, like it was like it was a good moment for us because there was some stuff that we hadn't really talked about since my grandma had passed. So it made for great television because they caught that moment in real time and were able to use it in the way that they were to use it. And you know, my dad's always loved Cheryl, so there was no you know, we were talking about Cheryl and me moving in and kind of where I saw our relationship going, and that was no surprise to him. But you know that moment where he shed that tear, that was a real life moment behind the scenes.
got you. And then of course when he walked in the house, he was like, "They're gonna cut it out," and he was like, "I don't think it worked like that." What was it like when did he watch the episode?
He did. He had to watch the episode.
What did he say when he
Um,
watched it? And they obviously didn't cut it out.
he couldn't believe that they kept that in there, that they had him on national TV looking like that. But no, he was the same thing that I just told you. He spent probably months after the fact telling everybody, I was talking about my mom. I was talking about my mom, because he's my dad is a guy's guy. He never never want anybody to see him cry.
Well, like I said, it was a good moment, and thank you for explaining what really happened. But like I said, it was just another great moment. Just again to see a father and son bonding like that on national television, two black men bonding and really just being open with each other. I think that's a beautiful thing to see for sure. So unfortunately, the show ended, and we saw that you proposed to Cheryl at the end of season two. When you got the news that the show was not coming back, let's talk about that because, like I said, of course, the fans were definitely disappointed that the show ended up getting canceled. What was that like for you? I mean, obviously you don't have a job anymore. I mean, that's sad. But like just emotionally, like it's like I know for me, I'd be like, dang, I have more story that I want to share with people. And I know, especially for you, again, you guys had just gotten engaged as well. So I'm sure you would have liked for us to see like life as an engaged couple. So what was that moment like for you when you found out the show wasn't coming back?
Well, first and foremost, don't get twisted. I still had a job.
I'm okay. Let
I
me
wasn't.
clarify
I wasn't.
that.
I'm gonna keep a job.
Oh no, I feel it. I feel it. That particular job you no longer
Yeah,
have.
yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where it keeps you humble for real, man, because it's like the as easy as these opportunities can come on your plate, just as easy as they can go away.
Right.
And the feeling was, for me, grappling with whether I thought that I had taken full advantage of the opportunity that I had in front of me while it was in front of me. I think I did a pretty good job of it because, I mean, shit, I'm on your podcast right now. We still talking about Sweet Life, and Sweet Life's been done for 2 years, which is amazing. But I think, yeah, it was a tough moment because, it was for me as an opportunity of a lifetime, and not the only opportunity of a lifetime, but at that time, the opportunity of a lifetime. Um, and it was tough, like you said, because there was so much more story that we had to tell for sure. Like obviously, Cheryl and I's relationship was such a big touch point for us on the show. Our relationship at that moment where you saw it at the end of season two, was about to take a whole nother step, go into a whole nother level, which in real life, and which would have been great to see on TV, I think, because a lot of people my age don't really get to see that sort of representation, especially in reality TV. I don't know a lot of people my age that are getting married, to be completely honest with you. And that's no shade to anybody. I haven't seen a lot of it. So I think that would have been great to see unfold on screen. I mean, I know a bunch of my other castmates had a bunch of stuff that they were getting into. Like folks were starting businesses. We were talking about, some people were talking about having kids, and there was just a lot of more conversation to have that would have been helpful for the folks in our community that look like us, that come from the same place we come from, to hear about. But things happen for a reason. Things
Yeah.
happen for a reason.
Yeah. How's the wedding planning going for you guys?
It's good, man. It's good. We were engaged, or have been engaged for a bit longer than most. We, decided to go the route of doing the house thing before investing in a wedding.
Mhm.
And we got that all squared away. So now we're all set. We'll be getting married top of next year.
Nice, nice. Congratulations on that, man. That's nice for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I
No
appreciate
problem.
you.
You know what I would like to see? I cause y'all vacations were amazing on the show.
Mhm.
I think what would be dope is like y'all, and then like I said again, it could be like a 4 episode, 6 episode. I think it'll be dope just to have like a reunion of sorts, and y'all actually go on another trip, and that actually be the catch up or something like that. I think that would be dope. Like I said, just kind of just see where everybody is, and then I have everybody in one central location, and just see what happens. I think that would be kind of a good kind of a good, not necessarily a wrap up, but again, like I said, like a reunion thing. Like, okay, what's everybody doing now? So I think
Yeah.
that would be kind of
Hey
dope.
man, I'm always down to take a trip. So as long as you get somebody to fund it, we could do it. Whoever's listening, as long as we get somebody to fund it, I'll be there.
That's what's up. Now I do have a question about the trip. So again, because it was obviously more people than the main cast. So like y'all literally knew all those people. Like I'm not you specifically, but just like the whole group. That was all y'all's people.
Yeah, yeah,
Whew, that's a lot of folk.
1000%, 1000%. I mean, the first trip that you saw us take, that was more. That was a lot more people than the second trip. And I would say that first trip was I loved that first trip, man, that we took season one. That was such a good trip. That house that we stayed in was amazing.
Crazy.
Um, yeah, and I think it did a really good job of just showing the amount of love that we had around us outside of just the people that you saw on the show. The second season, the group was obviously a little bit smaller, but that was because we were a little bit more dialed in on the group that was like really, in the show. A lot of people were still getting to know us first season. You really had to paint that picture of who we were and how we show up for each other in that first season. But yeah, all them people are the homies. Uh,
Nice, nice. Me and my sister had talked about this. I was like, whew, that's. I know my social battery to be like depleted after all of that. But again, you're on TV, so you mean being requested, you still gotta
yeah,
participate and stuff and everything. But I just know in real life, like I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna go lay down for a second because it's a lot of folk. I've been going
yeah.
on trips with six people, and I'd be like, I need to take a break.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. You're not wrong at all.
Is there do you still talk to people to the castmates of the show, like everybody?
Yeah, all the time. Actually, just saw most of them this past weekend. Cheryl turned 30. I
Happy
threw her a
birthday to
party
her.
for her 30th birthday. And then another one of our friends that was in the group that was in Mexico turned 30, and I
Okay.
saw everybody at her birthday party. We all got a lot of stuff going on in life, but we make sure to check in with each other when we can.
Nice, nice. Now speaking of afterwards, you have this podcast, Life Got Hands.
Hmm.
I'm definitely an avid watcher and viewer. How did that come about?
Well, I talked a little bit about making sure that, after the show got canceled, that I was taking full advantage of the opportunity that was in front of me. And when that opportunity went away, it's about like, okay, how can I pivot and take advantage of everything that the opportunity gave me? And that's, being able to build the audience that we're able to build for Sweet Life. You don't just want that to go away. You want to be able to retain that in some way, shape, or form as we possibly could. And then also, to everything that you saw on screen, like, some of it was sweet, some of it wasn't, but, life not sweet. Like life really be throwing punches, throwing blows at you on a daily basis. Like just because, we were taking trips and stuff like that doesn't mean that there was, we were filming season two and, PJ's aunt, who he was really close to, passed in the middle of us filming. He got to show up on screen and talk about that with his family. That was a tough moment for him. And it was more so, trying to show the audience that, we're real people. At the end of the day, being able to talk about some real issues in the ways that we were able to on screen, but just in a new medium with the podcast. Doing it with my friends, Pjae and Kofi, who were also on the show, um, just finding new ways for us to be involved and work with each other after having Sweet Life not be on the air anymore.
Got you. And what's going? Well, shout out to PJ and Kofi for sure. What's going on with the pod? Because guy ain't
Yeah,
dropped in a while. So,
we wrapped our first season of the pod, and you talk about me being all over the place. It's mainly my fault because I've been traveling a lot for work, so I haven't had a lot of time to film some new episodes. But top of the year, we'll be back with some new episodes, some great guests, So it's coming. I promise. I promise. That's my bad. I promise.
Well, thank you for that. And I said the next time I am in LA, I would definitely love to come sit in the audience and definitely with. 'Cause I enjoy the pod. I enjoy again just like the show with this podcast. You can sense the authenticity of y'all's relationship as you guys are talking. It's hilarious. Again, and it's very informational and it's relatable. So, like I said, I really enjoy when y'all do put out new episodes of the pod. So, we're definitely looking
Yeah, I
forward to
appreciate
that
you.
here. No problem. No problem. All right. So I want to we want to get to know you a little bit more. We got a little bit more time. With you being an LA kid, I have to get your opinion on Kendrick Lamar's latest project, so I want to hear your thoughts on what you talk about GNX and when he first dropped it and everything. What's your thought process on it?
Man, it's a beautiful time to be from LA. Kendrick and Mustard, I'll say, but Kendrick with this album, he's putting the city on his back. And I'm a fan, man. I don't think we've ever seen Kendrick talk his shit in the way that he's talking his shit. It's amazing. I love it. It's on repeat for me. I listen to it probably every single day in the car on my way to work. Um, it's just a great body of work, man. I think obviously I'm biased. I relate to it a little bit more being from LA and hearing some of the stuff that he talks about, the experiences. And stuff like that. But I think just if you're a fan of music, like we're whether or not you're on Team Kendrick, whether or not you're on Team Drake during that whole beef, like is just it's an amazing time to be a fan of music, man. These artists are putting out insane bodies of work. And yeah, they're taking some jabs at each other, but this is some of the best work that they've ever put out in their careers, and I'm just happy to be around in this time period to be able to experience it.
Nice. What's your favorite track or tracks on the
Um, Favorite tracks. I like TV off just because it gets me in that mode. It's loud. It's ratchet. It's LA. I'm a sucker for a mustard beat. And then I like Luther. If This World Were Mine is the sample on Luther, and that's one of my favorite songs in the entire world. My aunt actually recorded that song with Luther Vandross, Cheryl Lynn.
Hmm.
So I've been listening to that song since I was born. It's one of my favorite songs ever. So anything with a "If This World Were Mine" sample, you got me hooked immediately.
Just a side question. Are you related to Will Smith?
No.
Okay. I know you're like, where the hell that come from? I'm asking because I know when I first watched the show and I told Kendra, I said, Kendra, he looked like Jaden a little bit. And I was like,
No.
I said, if I ever talk to him, I'm gonna ask him if he's related to the Smiths. So
I did work for Will and Jada for 5 years though. I worked at their production company, Westbrook Inc. It was my second job out of college, and they're an amazing, amazing family, amazing people. And I did get that question a lot when I worked with them, and I would send emails, and they'd be like, "Oh, are you related to?" And I was like, "Nah, just good last name, good last name."
but this is honestly, bro, this is before I even found out what your last name was. It was just I saw you on the screen. I was like, he looks like Jaden a little bit. And I was like, I wonder if
Oh
he
wow.
so but yeah, just off brand question. Anyway, what are you watching on television right now? Like what show are you watching? Or what shows are you into?
One of my favorite shows on TV right now is Shrinking. It's on Apple TV. Apple TV does a terrible job of promoting their shows, but it's such a great show. It's a show about a group of therapists and kind of dealing with not just the problems of their patients, but their everyday problems. Because who therapizes the therapist, right? Like therapists go through stuff too. And just looking at it through a lens of the world through a lens of self-help, it's a extremely funny show. So I love that one. What else am I watching right now? Abbott Elementary, obviously, like the rest of the world. Um, there was some show that Cheryl just started watching last night that I was pretending not to pay attention to, but was really hooked into. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called La Palma,
Okay.
on Netflix or something like that. It's about like a tsunami, a natural disaster, and the main characters are trying to survive that. Um, I mean, I'm the wrong person to ask this, man, because if I watch everything, as long as it comes highly recommended, I watch it.
Have you watched Cross
Same
yet?
thing. What do you say?
Watched Cross yet? Cross.
I haven't watched Cross yet, but it's on my list. I was mad. I'm mad. I was supposed to go to the premiere for Cross, and ended up not being able to at the time. But I've been meaning to tap in ever since then, and just haven't had a chance to.
When you do, please let me know your thoughts. I'm just gonna say
I've heard great things.
a show, bro. I'm gonna tell you this. I watched it in 2 days. I was up till 3 o'clock in the morning watching it.
That's me. When I find something that I like, I will absolutely stay up until I finish it, and not leave it for another day.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of pioneers, Issa Rae, what was it like working with her? Because you and PJ, y'all made an appearance in Rap Shit, which sadly
Hmm.
also got canceled. That also hurt me. Um,
Yeah.
what was it like working with Issa?
I mean, it's exactly that, man. You called her a pioneer for a reason. I think that she does such a great job of looking after our community in ways that nobody has ever asked her to do. She goes out of her way to be as authentic as possible in the shows that she creates. Just really grateful for the amount of opportunity that she's given me in life, honestly, but the ear that she's lent me since Sweet Life, and for her being that sounding, being kind of a sounding board for someone like me who still hopefully has a lot to do within this industry. I mean, working with her was really cool. For lack of better words, like I don't really know what else to say. It's like so I was saying that I worked for Will and Jada for 5 years, and then on the back of that, like I was working with Esau on Sweet Life. It's just really cool, when you're some of your idols become your peers, man. Like it makes you have it brings like a different view on life to where it's like, folks like that, a lot of times people think like, oh, they reach a certain level, and they don't want anything to do with anybody that isn't on that same level as them. And I never felt that way with Issa. Like I could always call on her, I could always rely on her whenever I not needed, need something in the way that, she's just she's just amazing, man. She's amazing.
That's dope. That's dope. Are you a DC guy? Or are you a Marvel guy?
I'm a Marvel guy. I'm a sucker for the big action that is Marvel.
Okay, so this is gonna be a two-part question. Are you into X-Men? You like X-Men?
Yes.
The
Um,
hesitation.
yes. But I haven't watched nearly as much. Like okay, so I've seen X-Men. I've seen Wolverine. It's not as appealing to me as Marvel, but that's because Marvel is the big budget, big business. They got the Disney of it all behind them. So I fell into the commercial trap there with that one.
Got you. Understood. Okay, because I was gonna ask you about if you had a favorite X-Men, who was it? And then also if you had if you could be a Marvel superhero, which one would you be? But I don't know if you can.
Oh man, if I had a favorite X-Men, hmm, I'd probably have to say Professor X,
Okay.
just because. Oh, dang, that's a tough one though. That's a tough one. I probably want to be Professor X just because I want to know, I like being. He was going through some stuff, and I don't know that I'd want to deal with everything he was dealing with, but to be able to like read people's minds, like the telekinesis of it all, I think that would be really cool. I'm an overthinker, just by nature, and I think that kind of would suit me well, just knowing my personal personality.
Okay.
And if I could be any Marvel superhero, man, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Are we talking about like from the comics or from
Just any,
just the movies?
any, any Marvel superhero.
I
You
don't
want
want to be stereotypical and say Black Panther, but Black Panther had a slew of technology behind it that the entire world just couldn't figure out yet.
to?
Um, you caught me off guard with this one, man. This is the type of question I'm supposed to get ahead of time so I can be prepared. Um, if not Black Panther, maybe Deadpool.
Okay.
Obviously, he's immortal in his own way, which I love that. Yeah, if Black Panther or Deadpool, one of
Okay.
those maybe.
Okay. Yeah, and this is why I was like, I wanted to do something different. So let me ask him these little questions again so we can kind of get to know you outside of the show and all that good stuff. What's your favorite food?
Grilled cheese.
Nice. Nice.
I'm a simple man. A good bread, a good cheese, and I'm hooked.
Nice. What's your favorite color?
What's great? I don't really have a favorite color. I wear a lot of black, but black isn't my favorite color. Um, I'd probably have to say maybe like a shade of blue.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Now you had this iconic hair.
hmm
Saw that you like you just we saw you on social media one day, it was just gone. What
hmm
made you do the big chop?
Um, there's a couple of reasons.
Okay.
One, I am getting married, and I was going back and forth, and mainly my mom kept asking me. She was like, "Are you gonna cut your hair for your wedding?" And I was like, I don't know. Like this is my hair. I'll get married with hair if I want to get married with hair. Then I decided, maybe I'll give it a try. And I cut it, with enough time to where it's like if I wanted to grow it back, I would have enough time to grow it back before my wedding. So that was one reason. Second reason, I actually got paid to do it. If you saw the ad that released on my page after that picture of me showing up without any hair, I did a brand partnership where the brand was like, if you could try anything for 14 days, what would it be? And I had no idea what I looked like without hair,
Mm.
having had the hair for so long. And I was like, well, in a perfect world, if I could cut my hair and try it for 14 days, and if I didn't like it, go back, I would do that. So that was one of the reasons I got paid to do it for a brand partnership, and that's never bad because it's only hair; it'll grow back. And the third reason, really just a personal reason. Honestly, I got to a point where I had been thinking about, whether or not I wanted to do it for a while. And I really felt like I was holding on to the hair for some of the wrong reasons. Um, Obviously, the hair was a big point of contention among Sweet Life fans as the show was going on, whether you loved it or whether you hated it. And I think there was a point and where I realized that I was holding on to the hair because I felt like it was such an extension of me that I could never cut it because it made people so mad. And I think things like hair, they hold on to they they hold certain power. It holds certain value. And there were just like, some feelings wrapped up in my hair that I was just ready to let go of.
Mm.
And I just decided one day that I was going to cut it. I didn't tell anybody. I think I told Cheryl, and that was about it. But I didn't tell anybody that I was going to. Cheryl and my barber didn't tell anybody that I was going to do it. And I just did it one day. And from being completely honest with you, I felt and have felt great afterwards. You probably noticed I post a lot more haircut pictures now that I've cut my hair. So.
How is the content creating going for you, man? 'Cause like I said, I saw this. I like the last thing I saw. You did this awesome. You were in doing multiple things at one time, man. Dope stuff that you're putting out. How is the content creating going for you?
It's going really well, man. I think a lot of people ask me like, how do you do it? How do you create content? I was like, literally, man, just record yourself doing something and post it, dude. It's too much opportunity out here. These brands are paying too much money for you to not be in this content creation game. But also, I think that. I'm in a unique place in being able to be someone who can tell certain stories and do certain things from my own specific lens, and I'm really enjoying, for one, just being able to document some stuff in life, and I think it'll be great to have to look back on at some point. Like I make a lot of content with my grandma, which is great. I live with my grandma, and just being able to look back sometimes. Like sometimes, we'll be filming a video and I won't post it, or but the ones that I post, like I'll be sitting at home and I'll just be scrolling through my page. Sometimes I just look like, damn, like that was really cool. I got to do something like that with my grandma. But the content creation is going well, man. It's an uphill battle most days because things like when you start posting content, you start worrying about how many people are watching your content, how
Mhm.
much engagement your content is getting, and stuff like that can really be a tear sometimes. And trying to get through, just understanding that you're posting for you, your voice, your story matters. But it's fun. It's fun. I never would I have thought that there'd be a world in which we could make a living or just have the opportunity to share our daily lives with complete strangers across the internet, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now again, you've been traveling. We've been watching you. You've been traveling a lot of places, doing a lot of amazing things. What has been your favorite place? Where has been your favorite place to go to that you've been so far?
I took Cheryl to Japan for her 30th birthday this year. And that was by far one of my favorite places that I've been. Just the culture out there, how you just are immediately immersed in it. I felt so safe. I felt like I could do anything and everything that I wanted in that city. And then I love to shop. I love clothes, and that was the greatest shopping experience I've ever had in Japan. It was like you could just walk down the street, there'll be a random store, and you'll find something that you've never seen before in America. So I'd probably say the best places I've been so far is Japan. I was fortunate enough to go to China a couple of times this year for work. And I will say that, the same way that I talk about the culture of Japan, the culture of China, man, it's so rich. It's so deep. It's so beautiful. And I feel like a lot of times we think about, oh, China is a whole nother world. They operate in a different way than we operate, but it's so beautiful, man. When I went out there and got to see it, just how completely enriched in culture that they are. So I probably say between Japan and China, but Japan probably wins.
Nice, nice, absolutely. Final question for you. Um, for people who are watching and are listening, what words of advice can you give someone who has a dream that wants to do something, but they just don't know what to do or how to get something done? Like, what words of advice could you give someone who wants to make their dream a reality?
Oh man, I would say you're one step away from changing your life, and that's in that you could take that in a good way, you could take it in a bad way, but in relation to your dreams, you're one step away from changing your life. There's one decision that you can wake up and make one day that could be the greatest decision of your life, and it could change your life in ways that you couldn't even imagine. And I think that, a lot of people get hung up on well, what if I'm not good enough? What if I'm bad at it? What if I can't do this? What if I can't do that? The greatest experience in life are experiences. And when you wake up and you make that decision that you want to do something, can nobody stop you from doing what you want to do? That dream that you want is one choice, one step away from you being able to attain it. And for lack of better words, closed mouth don't get fed. So you got to go eat.
Nice. Well, we definitely appreciate that, man. Thank you so much for that. Now, if people want to follow you, want to continue see you doing all the great things that you're doing, how can they do so?
I'm on most social platforms at Jerrold H. Timms, JerroldHtims. That's Gerald and then Smith backwards.
Nice. Nice. Well, Gerald, thank you so much for taking the time out your busy schedule to talk with me today. This has been a great conversation. Like I said, I've been looking forward to this, and I definitely appreciate you again for all that you do, and continue to be a light that you are in the world, man.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you for this platform that you've built for sharing stories like mine, like yours. And I wish you nothing but the best going forward.
Thank you, brother. And like I said, the next time I'm in LA, I'm definitely gonna hit you up because
Hit me.
I need to be a part of. I need to be a part of the experience of the
Hit
podcast.
me. We here. Hit me.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, everybody, that is it. Thank y'all so much for being a part of my world. And until next time, peace.
This hustle, this grind, I live this. I am Danny Blaze. Follow me on this journey. That's life. Y'all really don't know what a nigga really been through. To them lame ass niggas stay on my side. These days never know what a nigga getting into. But I spend my wings at the speed of light.